So I stumbled across this article, and normally I wouldn't cover an article like this because it's just some small-time news agency, but they did what we said they were going to do. They're going after force reset triggers on two fronts. One, the government still classifies those as full auto. They're just choosing not to enforce the ban. And two, the definition of a pistol. They definitely are in pistols right now. So let's talk about it. But before we get into that, the biggest thing I need you to remember is if you'd like to help support the channel directly, the best way to do it is shopping at OnlyTacticalFans at Shopify.com. You can purchase cool merchandise like this t-shirt, morale patches, MREs. Tourniquets are gone. I'm working on getting some Cat Gen 7s there, but those are really tough. They have some strict rules about it. I don't know. We might not be able to get those. We might have to go with one of their competitors. We'll see how it pans out. But I will have some sort of professional tourniquet on there shortly. Watch for that. Anyway, back into the video. So this article drops, right? And the biggest thing is this chick, Pamela Hicks. So she was a part of the whole Biden ATF. She was an attorney for the DOJ. She even has a private law firm now where she basically handles government employees. She's one of those super elitists. Like, I am the king. All you guys follow and do what I say. That's the way it is. Rules apply to you, not to me. I'm up here, you're down here. She's one of those types of people. So she is more or less an expert witness for this article. And it's important because she's definitely the type of person that the next anti-gun administration is going to put in front of Congress and going to testify. So we need to look at what she says, so when she says it in front of Congress, we're ready for it, and we have a way to counter what she says. And like I said in my other videos, she definitely went after in those two main prongs. One, it's still a machine gun. Two, it's definitely going in pistols, making their agreement null and void. So, first one, they're in pistols. I'll roll in exact quotes of what she said, but we'll just talk verbatim here. So, she's going on that basically manufacturers, yeah, rear breed got a pass, but other manufacturers didn't, so they didn't have to sign up to this agreement, and they are manufacturing them for pistols. Now, she also implies, or I feel she implies, that the word definite, or the definition of pistol is incorrect. Because how can you say the definition of a pistol is something where a magazine goes into a grip, so what are you saying, a revolver is not a pistol? We all know the definition of a pistol, and it is not the defining feature of a magazine going into the grip. And that's how they're going to come at us. They're going to be like, this is the actual definition of a pistol, and there's definitely force reset triggers in AR-15 pistols. Next one, it is a machine gun. She goes on to say that it fires so fast, she could not pull the trigger fast enough to fire a single round, implying that, hey, this is a full auto. And later, she just straight up calls it a machine gun. Then she goes on to say that rear breed triggers are only the legal people, the only company that can legally put out, and I shouldn't say legally put out, they're the only company that the DOJ is not going to force machine gun laws onto it. Basically implying that things like the super safety or any of those other force reset triggers, they are illegal contraband. But because of this agreement, everything's up in the air and we don't really know what's going on. And we'd be naive to think that only rare breed triggers are going to put out force reset triggers when it's such a popular design. Implying that, hey, not only is it a machine gun that's not being enforced, not only is it a pistol, or not only are they going in pistols, but people are also putting out other force reset triggers when they're not legally allowed to, because we never agreed not to go after people like the super safety or anything like that. Then she goes on to be like, oh, people are going to die. Now she's touching on the whole, because remember, gun laws used to be decided in a two-step balancing process. You had, is the gun law constitutional? Okay, it's not. Now let's look at public safety concerns. Now, Bruin said you can't use that anymore. You have to just look at, is the gun law constitutional? But we've seen repeatedly, over and over and over again, that they still look at public safety. As a matter of fact, ATF was just quoting that in the lawsuit against the super safety and rear breed triggers, because they took the side of rear breed triggers and like, hey, this is a public safety concern. You guys need to put a TRO on the super safety. She's starting to already work on the angle that, hey, you know, generally people that aren't me, because clearly she plays with machine guns, so people that aren't me are not responsible enough to handle the Second Amendment. We need to restrict the Second Amendment to different people. I don't want to be restricted, but these people do. So I want restrictions on all these people, but I want to carve out for me, is essentially what she's saying, is that it's a big security risk and a private safety concern. Yeah, we get it. You like playing with machine guns and you don't feel the rest of us are cool enough to. And you have to really be careful with that because you know you're responsible enough for a machine gun, right? I know I'm responsible enough, but if we start dubbing other people are not responsible enough, they're going to dub us as not responsible enough. Because what's the difference between me and the neighbor you think isn't responsible enough? There isn't one. We both live in the same country, and in your particular case lives in the same neighborhood, under the same constitution, has the same upbringing. Well, I shouldn't say same upbringing as you. The point is, the only way you can separate that is say that people that are under federal custody or state custody or some sort of probation, they can be restricted from the Second Amendment, but the second they are off of their paper or released from federal custody, they should have the full protections of the Second Amendment. That's machine guns, everything. Because again, any restriction you're willing to apply on them will most certainly be applied on you. So instead of thinking about them, are they safe enough, you need to think, am I safe enough? That's the way the Second Amendment needs to be analyzed. If I am responsible enough for a machine gun, then everybody is. Because the 14th Amendment, you can't have different standards for different people. Yes, we have that right now. Right now, the Second Amendment is a second-class right. Depending on what your occupation is, or if you've paid a $200 tax, you are considered safe. If you're a cop, you're safe enough to have a machine gun. If you're military, you're safe enough to have a machine gun. If you paid a $200 tax, regardless what your occupation is or what you do, you're safe enough to have a machine gun. But people that haven't been in one of those occupations, I shouldn't say haven't been, people that aren't currently in one of those occupations, or people that haven't paid $200, I don't know how a $200 anything makes some people safe and some people not, but that is the standard of what's safe. That's pretty ridiculous. And you need to look at it under that light. Because when you look under it, under that light, then it becomes clear that, oh, these restrictions or me thinking someone else is not safe enough is the same thing as me thinking I'm not safe enough. So clearly, she still believes that the two-step balancing process is in play. And I think when you look at the actual cases and what judges say, she's absolutely correct. The judges still look at, oh, is this a public safety risk? So she goes on to be like, this is a personal security risk and a personal safety risk because I'm an elitist and I just don't feel comfortable with all you lessers walking around with force reset triggers. Yeah, I can play with them. It's totally legal for me to play with them. I've shot them. I've tested them. I don't want you guys doing it because I'm better than you. And that's essentially what she's saying. The next, people are going to die. I already covered that. Next, they will ultimately go after them. So she goes on to say that we are going to go after these. Again, I'll roll in the actual quote. Basically, we're going to wait for a tragedy. At some point, there's going to be somebody that's going to get shot, and their firearm is going to contain a rear breech trigger. The statistics just, that's how it pans out. There's enough of these on the market where at some point, one is going to wind up in a crime, and once that tragedy happens, we'll have the legal footing and the political backing, and the news is going to back us up, and we are ultimately going to go after these again. So that's pretty retarded. They make guns full auto. By the end of the article, she just straight up says, these are for converting pistols to machine guns. Yeah, just straight up says it. That's what these are for. Now, she's saying pistols because that's part of the agreement. She can't really say rifles. I mean, she probably could anyway, but I think it would be a bad move for her to say rifles, so she just like, these are making pistols full auto. That's the way it is. She calls them just straight up a machine gun. And remember, this is the exact type of person they're putting in front of Congress, because they're going to be like, she's qualified. She was ex-ATF. She's a super awesome lawyer. She's on our side. We already know what she's going to say. She's already going to go after them. So, yeah, again, they're going into pistols. The agreement's null and void. They are definitely still machine guns, so we can still go after them. And only rear breech triggers is allowed to manufacture those. And I shouldn't say allowed. Yeah, I guess allowed would work. Because not legally allowed, because they're not legally allowed. They're just being allowed. They're getting a carve out for the machine gun law. Anyways, if you'd like to help support the channel directly and you don't want to shop at only tactical fans at Shopify.com, the best way to do that is go down in the description to the affiliate links. Click on that Amazon affiliate link. Even if you don't buy what that link is for, just click it on it. doing the Amazon shopping you were already going to do anyway. I get a little kickback for it because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.